Raven Rock. At Raven Rock Mountain, at the 4,667-acre Raven Rock State Park in Franklin County, near Fountaindale, on Blue Ridge Summit, is an alternate Joint Communications Center, AJCC, simply known as Site R, for Raven Rock, or The Rock, which is just over the state line near Waynesboro, Pennsylvania. It is about 6 miles north of the presidential retreat of Camp David in Catoctin Mountains near Thurmont, MD, and it is believed by some to be connected with it via a tunnel. In 1950, President Truman approved the 716 acres as part of Camp Albert C. Ritchie in Maryland. Construction began in 1950, and it became operational in 1953. It came under the auspices of Fort Detrick, MD, when Fort Ritchie closed in September 1998, as part of the 1995 Base Realignment and Closure Act. Because of its backup status, it is known as the Underground Pentagon. It is actually a duplicate of the Pentagon's Command and Control Center, and was used by Deputy Defense Secretary Paul Wolfowitz during the September 11 terrorist attacks. It provides computer services, functions as a disaster recovery site, and oversees over 38 communication systems. The 260,000 square foot facility lies 650 feet beneath the 1,529 foot summit, and can be accessed by 4 tunnels, which is secured by a chain link fence. There are 5 buildings within the complex, with at least 3 of them being 3-story structures. Inside this massive bunker, which can accommodate 3,000 people, there is an underground reservoir containing millions of gallons of water, fluorescent lighting, medical/dental facilities, dining facilities, a fitness center, a convenience store, post exchange, a barber shop, a chapel, 35 miles of phone lines, and 6 1,000-watt generators. In 2002, in a Department of Defense briefing, in response to a question as to why $74 billion needed to be allocated for upgrades to the facility for power, cooling, and staff accommodation, it was revealed that it fits into the overall continuity of government plans. According to the 1994 U.S. Army Military Police publication Physical Security of the Alternate Joint Communications Center, they reference a location known as Site Creed, which is the limited area on the west side of the AJCC with an underground building complex. Highly secured, most personnel at site did not even know it existed. It is a Presidential Emergency Facility, PEF, that is codenamed the Lucy and Desi Suite. Greenbrier Facility, codenamed Project Greek Island, and sometimes Casper. Only a half-dozen members of Congress, at any one time, knew of its existence. On Sunday, May 31, 1992, an article by Ted Gupp, a Washington correspondent for Time magazine, appeared in the Washington Post, PG. W11, which revealed that this secret 112,000 square foot facility was located under and beside the Greenbrier Resort Hotel, which is located on 6,500 acres in the Allegheny Mountains in White Sulphur Springs in West Virginia, about 250 miles from Washington, D.C. It is an hour away by plane. The luxury hotel actually looks like the White House. In the winter of 1941-42, it served as an internment area for Japanese, Italian, and German diplomats. In 1949, Secretary of Defense Louis Johnson held a meeting there with the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the Secretaries of the Army, Air Force and Navy for a top-secret discussion of post-war military strategy. In 1956, Eisenhower had an international meeting there with the leaders of Canada and Mexico. In 1960, when they began work on their new West Virginia wing, which contains a complete medical clinic, the Greenbrier website indicates that the top-secret relocation center for the U.S. Congress was constructed underneath. It was completed 2.5 years later. Supposedly deactivated, there are actually public tours of the former government relocation facility now. Its purpose was to house the Congress in the event of a nuclear attack. It has an area for the Senate, House, and a large hall for joint sessions. According to former House Speaker Thomas P. Tip O'Neill, who received an annual briefing about the site, spouses would not be allowed in during a nuclear event. The relocation center's largest room is actually part of the wing's design. It is 89 by 186 feet, and has a 20-foot high ceiling supported by 18 huge columns. It is now called the Exhibition Hall, and is used for conference events. It has a vehicular, as well as pedestrian entrance, both of which can be sealed off quickly by blast doors hidden behind a false wall. To hotel guests, it appears only to be a very large room. However, its purpose is for joint sessions of Congress. Behind the hall is a 470-seat auditorium for the House of Representatives and a 130-seat auditorium for the Senate. Not too far from these areas is a large white door leading to a corridor about 20 yards long, which culminates with a locked door, and a sign that says, "Danger, high voltage, keep out." Beyond that is an underground installation having 2-foot-thick concrete walls reinforced with steel, and a concrete roof under 20 feet of dirt, and contains an infirmary with an operating table, hundreds of metal bunk beds, a shower room, numerous offices, a television studio, radio and communications room, dining room, an internal power plant, with two two-story high diesel generators, and a pathological waste incinerator, or cremation oven, which would be used to dispose of bodies, because once the doors are sealed, they cannot be opened again until the crisis has passed. A tunnel for vehicles was constructed through the hill to a secret location at the rear of the property which easily accesses Route 60 and a railroad. The facility was connected, via an underground cable, to a microwave communications outpost at nearby Cates Mountain Road, in the Greenbrier State Forest. Though this facility is said to be decommissioned, my feeling is that the government didn't spend millions of dollars on such a facility for it not to